Yo, what's going on YouTube? I am Will back here with another video. Super glad to see you all again. Thanks for checking out the latest video and really kind of helping me get back on my feet with the YouTube stuff again. So really appreciate you all checking that video out. And if you haven't seen that video already, I talk about me gaming and my discipleship with Christ and what it means to be a gamer as a Christian. So that'll be right above if you want to check that video out and down in the description and in the comments. But today's video is a video that is really relevant to me, and it probably is relevant to a lot of you all right now as well. So I'm looking forward to speaking about that topic soon. But just for some understanding on things before I start, you can skip this part if you don't want to hear it. So give you an opportunity to skip now. I'll see y'all in a little bit. But for those who stay and want to hear about this, basically I'm just gonna really be trying to work on consistency and uploading videos at least once a week, just so that you all are able to get content and really just see the different things that I'm having on the channel. So if you heard this part and you're looking forward to seeing some of the content that we're gonna have coming up, then go ahead and drop a like down on the video. And this is actually something that I want to mention now as well, but I'm not gonna be here next week, and that is the week of the 1st of October. So I'll have some videos planned out for that week, so you all are able to get what you need. But with that whole PSA done, let's get back into the main part of the video. So if you skip the other part, it's okay. Let's get to the actual video. But today I want to talk about a topic that I think everybody can relate to. Literally everyone. And that topic is adversity. Adversity is one of those things that everybody faces in their life at many points. You face it as a kid, you face it in your teen years, you face it as a young adult, you face it when you're 30 years old, you face it when you're 70 years old. Like, everybody faces some form of adversity, some form of difficulty, some form of problem. And it can be a very daunting task to overcome, because it is really one of those things that shows us as humans that we lack a lot more control than we think that we have. So I know for me, back when I was first kind of started to run into problems and I was conscious of these problems, I started to realize that there was a lot that I could not control in those situations at all. I literally remember myself saying this to myself, like, dang bro, you really can't do anything about this. And the older that I got and the more that I understood about just the way that life works, is that there is two things that are for certain. There's more that are for certain, but these are the two things that I'm recognizing at this moment. Is there is nothing new under the sun, and we are all going through something. And even currently right now, I'm going through some stuff. I'm going through some stuff. And in that, it can be very easy to give up. It can be very easy to blame. It can be very easy to doubt that you'll ever be out of that situation. And it's a very slippery slope, really thinking about all the things that we've been through as people, as a society, as individuals. And it can be very easy to forget that every day is a new opportunity for us to be in a new space, in a new environment, in a new frame of mind. And because we've gotten through that adversity, we have the ability to go through another one. Does that mean that they're fun? No, not at all. But the reason that I wanted to bring it up was because I understand that even for myself, it can be easy to keep these thoughts trapped in your head of, I'm going through something, I'm dealing with something, and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out of it. And maybe nobody is actually going through what I am. And I am here to tell you, contrary to anybody's thought on this, everyone is going through something. It might not be identical. It might not be the specific thing that the other person is going through, but we are all experiencing a form of hardship. And sometimes it may be harder to see it than others, but we all got our own things that we have to get figured out. And when I have situations like this where I'm going through a tough time, or when there's something that doesn't go my way, or maybe there's something that I can't even see coming up and it happens, I really have to center myself and think, what is the purpose of this challenge? What is the purpose of this trial? And that's not an easy thing to do. Like, have you ever heard someone be excited about acknowledging a problem and thinking about what it's trying to teach them? Like, no one's excited about that. But it's realistic, and it's what is needed to actually make a decision on how we want to approach the problem. There have been tons of things in my life that I had happen to me. I can think of a specific one, and I actually mentioned this in one of my very, very, very old videos where I talked about a bit of my story, and I'll reference it for this part so you can understand where I'm coming from. But back in 2016, I had just graduated high school, and I was ready to go to college. I was ready to start on this journey and be my own person, like we all want to do, right? And I was super excited to go to XY school, and some things happened where I wasn't able to go to that school. So you can see that that was already kind of a hardship. But then I ended up having a issue in my house where my room flooded. And then on top of that, we had like a bug infestation. So I didn't go to school. So I felt like I was behind. I ended up losing like everything that I owned in my room. I lost my trophies from middle school. I lost documents. I lost my game systems, clothes, my bed. Like, I lost so much. And I also had this bug problem that literally like ruined the last little comfort that I might have had. And in that moment, I can genuinely say that if not the first thing, or it's probably the second thing. Honestly, both things are pretty bad, but I could comfortably say that that was one of the top 2 lowest moments that I've had in my life. And not a single thing in that story that I just told was controllable. None of it. I couldn't control the bugs. I couldn't control the water. I couldn't even control me going to school at that moment because it was out of my hands for the decision. So I really hit a low moment, and I never really fully grasped how important it is to look ahead. What do you mean by that? Well, looking ahead allows us to put our hope in something. It allows us to see that there is a way that we can trust that if we stay the course and we do the best that we can and we work as hard as we can and we do whatever we need to do within reason, don't hear what I'm not saying, to make it out, there's gonna be a way. And this is extremely important for a Christian's walk, because if we know anything about Jesus was a very cool dude. Jesus healed people, he He taught people. He helped people in many, 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 many ways. But Jesus' life was not easy. And Jesus' life was never truly comfortable. And through all those adversities that I mentioned and all the different things that we might go through, we can always see that Jesus was able to relate to us in this way. And I think it's really important to remember that in a walk where there are bound to be many forms of difficulty, many forms of persecution, many forms of doubt even, we have to be able to see that there is a future and that there is a hope that we can recognize, put a name to it. Sometimes you can't even put a name to the thing that you're looking for, but we can put a name to it and we can see that there is actually a way to get there. So this is something I did in the last video, and I want to just do this more in my videos, is I want to share scripture with you all just so that you can see that this isn't something that just came out of my head. I didn't think this back in 2016. I didn't think this in 2017. I didn't think this back in 2020. But really studying out the Bible and seeing what God says about staying that course and fighting the adversity really changed my perspective on how we should approach it. So I'm going to be reading in Romans 5, and I'm going to read the first 4 verses. So hope you're there because I'm going to start reading. But verse 1 says, "Therefore, since we have been justified through faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. Though whom we have gained access by faith into this grace in which we now stand, and we boast in the hope of the glory of God. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope." And this is one of those scriptures that I really try to remember in my walk as a Christian, because I understand that through the life that Jesus had, that he had to persevere all the way to getting to the cross. And even in that moment, knowing that the cross was his opportunity to take all of the sins from the world and put on himself, that's something that you have to persevere to get to, let alone actually accomplish. And persevering is one of those things that we have to instinctually do. It's one of the defense mechanisms, if you want to call it that, that allows us to see that we're not done yet, that we still got a little bit more fight in us. And when we go through these adversities and we go through these sufferings, it allows us to build in that perseverance to the next stage, which is character. And the character is really the nature that we have as people. What we have inside of us that allows us to stand firm, even in the midst of severe trials and opposition. And that character is something that really only happens through those trials. It allows us to see what we actually truly care about, and what morals, what values, and what standards, what convictions are we gonna stand on so that we can actually make it through. And the last of these things is really the most important part of this, which is the hope that we have. Like, if you think about anything that you might have wanted to accomplish in life, and you genuinely wanted to do it, but it didn't pan out the way that you thought it would, or you're still waiting on that thing to happen. If you allow the other two things to work itself out, then you would always be able to say that there is a hope that you can look forward to that will get you to the place that you need to be at. And that hope really does rely on having the trust that it will come to fruition. But the really cool thing about it is that this isn't just some regular hope that is being mentioned. No. This is a hope in Jesus that not only will we get through whatever situation that we're going through, but that at the end of the day, we can say that we're still with him. And looking on ahead to that future, to that hope that we trust in, is that we're gonna be able to be in heaven with him. And this is one of the hopes that is essential for being a Christian, but it really defines the way that we live. And it helps us to see that even in the craziest, toughest, most outlandish situations, that if we persevere and if we develop that character through that perseverance, we'll be able to not only have a hope that things are going to be better on the other side, but we'll also have a hope that's in Jesus as well. So that's a lot that I said, but I mainly just want to communicate the point of you got this. You are not alone in the suffering that you are feeling. And even if there is something that you may not be able to fully understand about why you're going through what you're going through, if you look at these things that I shared and a ton of other things that you can see in the Bible, it really does show that we are being built up for a coming Christ. And if you are a Christian, I encourage you to continue fighting the good fight, to finish the race. And if you aren't a Christian, or if you're a part of a different faith, then I would encourage you to really look at this passage and to see that this isn't a hope that comes from my left hand. This is a hope that comes from the Bible, and it comes from the God who promises that we will have a hope in him. So I hope this was encouraging to you all. I hope that this is a good reminder to just continue to go on. And there's people that are going to be in your corner. You just might not know where they are or what they look like. But hope you enjoyed this video. I know this one was a bit longer, but I want to do stuff like this. And honestly, I'm just going to make videos that I think would help you all. So drop a like down if you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments if you have any other topics or suggestions that you might want to learn about, have insight on, or maybe even just have a conversation on. But besides that though, hope I see you all in the next video. We're gonna have a couple more coming your way for this week and next week. So hope you're ready to check in and tune in on the channel. So with that, I'll see y'all in the next one.